Good morning, everybody. I am RJ Smith, and this is Crazy News, where we talk about the craziest things that come out in the news that you won't find in the regular press or media. So today we have 3 stories for you. Let's get to it. An Iowa woman who wanted to make jewelry from giraffe feces. She picked them up on vacation in Kenya and brought them back to the United States in her luggage. I kid you not, guys. The woman did declare the small box of feces when she was selected to have her belongings inspected upon arriving at Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport on September 29th. This, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Apparently, she planned to use the poop to make a necklace, as she had done in the past with moose feces. Look, giraffe feces can legally be brought back to the United States from another country, but you have to have the proper permits and inspections. According to Minnesota Public Radio, the station reported the woman would not face sanctions or charges because she simply declared the feces and gave it to customs. Said if this person had entered the U.S. and not declared the poop, there is a high probability the person could have contracted a disease from this jewelry and developed serious health issues. Oh, some of these people, guys. African swine fever, Newcastle disease, even foot and mouth disease, along with vesicular disease, are among the ailments in Kenya that customs cited as risks. Now, this next one has been making the rounds on the internet for years. Lots of people speak about them. And of course, I'm talking about black-eyed children. I first read about black-eyed children in American paranormal legend, creatures that resemble children, usually under the age of 18, with almost translucent white skin and black eyes. They are usually seen hitchhiking or showing up on your doorstep. It is said the evil kids try to trick people into inviting them inside a home or business. Most believe the creature children have existed since the 1980s, and most sources indicate that the legend originated from a 1996 post penned by Texas reporter Brian Bethel. He describes encountering 2 kids in Abilene, Texas, and claimed another person had a similar encounter in Portland, Oregon. In 2012, Brian again told his story on the reality TV series Monsters and Mysteries in America. And in that same year, a horror movie, Black-Eyed Kids, was produced. Fast forward to a United States Marine who one night heard a knock on his door. Assuming it was an acquaintance, he went to the door only to discover a teen boy asking what he wanted through the door. Boy asked to be let into the house to use the phone, but something seemed off and the Patriot said no while directing him to a service building. Once again, the boy knocked. Pissed, the Marine looked out the window and got a good look at the sickly looking kid, which really freaked him out. Shocked, he realized that the kid's eyes were completely black, kind of like the description we get of gray extraterrestrial biological entities or aliens. But the Marine ignored his gut instinct, turned, and momentarily grabbed the phone. But when he looked back to the window, the kid had disappeared. He thought he had seen the boy back in high school when he worked nights at a gas station. One evening, smoking cigarettes out front with his brother, they both saw a kid walking across 4 lanes of traffic. His brother asked if he needed anything, and the boy made the same request, wanting a phone. The brother said no one was allowed to use the phone in the business. However, the strange kid did not take no for an answer and stood in front knocking on the window until the brother chased him away with a baseball bat. When the brother came back, he said the kid was very pale and had huge black eyes. Now, the Marine realized it was the same kid. Next up is a sketchy story about a female skeleton which archaeologists believe is a vampire from 17th century Poland. The story has gone viral. So what's all this really about? Researchers came across the remains of a woman with a sickle against its throat and a triangular padlock on her toe at a gravesite in the village of Pian. Was supposed to prevent a deceased person thought to be a vampire from returning to life. In an interview with the Polish press, they claimed the human remains also had a silk headdress which was woven with gold or silver trim. While the padlock and sickle are linked to 17th century superstitions, the researchers said that the cap is evidence of a high social standing of the deceased. Sometimes corpses were burned, smashed with stones, or had their head and legs cut off. I don't know. Surprisingly, this is not the first such discovery. In 2014, archaeologists from the University of South Alabama found 6 more vampire skeletons. One of them was 400 years old, and researchers are calling it a vampire child buried in the same Polish village. The child was between the ages of 5 and 7 at the time of their death and was buried face down with another padlock on his foot. Padlocks supposedly indicate people were afraid of this child after its death. Archaeologists also offered that this was the first time a child was found buried like this, as the practice was usually used on adults. Crazy, I'll tell you. Now, the graveyard where the child was found was exclusively for poor and undesirable people who were not wealthy enough to be buried in the churchyard, or because they were abandoned souls. This same burial practice has also been seen in other areas in Europe and seems to indicate people in the area generally feared their loved ones may rise from the dead and ultimately haunt them. The child's skeleton was moved to a university in Turin for further testing. Now that is some crazy news, guys. What do you guys think? You buy this story or not? Leave your comments in the comments below. So for the day, thanks for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.